Hello YouTube, I'm back again. Now this is the second video that I said I was going to do. If you watched the video I put up yesterday, you'll notice that I said in the video I was going to be doing 2 videos in the one day. However, unfortunately, by the time that first video had uploaded, there wasn't really enough time left for me to do the second one, because it was getting late and I was tired. So I was tired and I just thought, well, I'd rather be, my usual sort of bouncy, energetic self. And so that's how I left it until now. Before I start this video, one quick thing I'd like to address is that on my previous video I actually got a comment asking me why I had deleted all of my old videos and started all over again. Well, the answer to that is very simple, and I'm not going to go into any great detail. I'm just going to tell you that it was for personal reasons. That's it. That's all I feel I need to divulge at this point in time. Personal reasons. Okay. So to that person who commented that, thank you for commenting that, and there is your answer, and I hope you watch this video and get your answer. So there we go. Now, moving on. This video is actually going to start off a series of videos I'm going to be doing using these particular items as the central focus. And that is because I actually received this collection in the mail yesterday, and it is a collection, and it is the complete collection of a magazine that, again, it is the complete collection of a magazine that I wish I'd known about at the time it was originally published back in the early 2000s, because I'm telling you now, I would have collected it. And the magazine in question is, he says as he reaches for the first issue, 007 Spy Files. And of course this came with the, as you can see at the bottom of the 007 fact cards, which I do have the fact cards here in this little tin, and of course the bigger tin. However, those, because there are so many of them, there are 5 categories of card. If I can remember all these other things in the tin. Allies, villains, vehicles, allies, villains, Q branch, vehicles, locations. And there are 30 cards to each category, which means there's 150 cards in total. And that's why I'm not going to try and do the magazines and the cards all in one. I'm going to do this video now showing off all 32 issues of the magazine. Yes, 32 issues of the magazine. And then either tomorrow or Sunday I'm going to do a video all about the cards. Because that way I can give them their own video, they've all have their own, and they can have their own breathing space. So, issue 1. There's the front, and on the back of all of these, which I quite like, there's one of these little games. This one is called Bondmobiles. That's one of these, select the answers and get to the car you want. Well, when I was a kid, whenever we used to come across... what I'm trying to say is that when we used to come across one of these games when I was a kid, back when I was a kid, when we came across one of these games, what we do normally is we'd pick, there were like 4 or 5 things at the bottom, as you can see, and we would just pick whichever one we wanted first. We'd do it completely backwards, by picking which one we actually wanted first, and then starting at the top and going, okay, well, I'll go there, and bang, I've got it. So for me, I'd pick the DB5, and I'd start at the top there, and I'd go, okay, what's my quickest way to the DB5? Well, it's to go from here. I'd go to, I'm moving the, hold on. This is going to be complicated because my thing is moving backwards, but from here, as you can see, I'd go to there, and then I'd go to there, then to there, then to there, and then to the DB5. And I really sincerely hope that comes out the right way around when this video actually goes live on YouTube, or we're going to have problems. So that was issue 1. Oh, actually, something they did in these, which I thought was really cool, is in each of these issues, you've got one page about an ally, and then a dossier on and then a kind of a thing on a villain at the end. And the first 3 of these allies ones were all about Bond. So that's the first one, all about Bond. And the one at the back here, the villain one, is all about Oddjob. If you want to try and read that, you're more than welcome to pause it. But it's here, the red box at the bottom there, you can see it says MI6 profile update, and then there the thing it says, the first thing it says there is current status deceased. As we all know, Oddjob died in Goldfinger. So then we have the Spy Files issue 2. And the ally, again the ally that was filed in this one, I believe again was James Bond. One of the first 3 issues he got his, of course he did, it's his magazine. And then the villain is Dr. No. Current status again, deceased. Now the game on the back of this one is Inside MI6, and it's basically which MI6 character are you? And the choices are James Bond, Charles Robinson, Q, and M. And it's like, well, okay, how do I get to James Bond really quickly? Well, from the start, I just go to there, to there, to there, to there. Oh, look, I got James Bond. So that's what any kid in that position is going to do. Then we have the Spy Files issue 3, where we have Pierce Brosnan in his naval commander uniform. And then the ally in this one, who has a file in this one, is again James Bond, because, as I pointed out to you, all the first 3 of these were James Bond. That's the last one of James Bond. We actually move on to, it says Dossier 3 there. We actually get to move on to another character in the next one, who I can't remember now. I did look through this yesterday. And the villain is Teehee, and it is deceased. Bond throws him out the trim window, doesn't he? I've not seen Live and Let Die in a while. Although I have just got up to that in my current rewatch of all the films. I am on Live and Let Die next. And in case you're interested, the little game on the back was Ideal Lair, which, basically finding out which villain's lair you'd have, and you've got Palmyra, Emilia Largo's lair, of course, Scaramanca's Island, Atlantis, which was Stromberg in Spy Who Loved Me, and the space station, which was Drax's lair in Moonraker. Then we have issue number 4, Pierce Brosnan in... Now, I believe that's from Tomorrow Never Dies. Please, somebody in the comments below, correct me if I'm wrong. And then the ally, the first ally not to be Bond, is... It's Q! Oh, yes, I remember now. Q had 2, didn't he? I remember looking through this. It's Q, Major Boothroyd, and that to me, I was like, oh, first go through something the other day. Yesterday, I was like, oh, so Desmond Llewellyn did actually step into the role of Major Boothroyd from the first film, but they just decided to call him Q rather than Major Boothroyd. Did we ever see that thing that he's holding in the movies? Please let me know. And then the villain is Trevelyan from GoldenEye, and of course his status is again deceased. And the little game on the back is Gadget Gallery. And so your choices are the laser watch, the X-ray glasses, the jetpack, or the grenade pen. You can tell this is geared towards younger readers, can't you? But I don't care about that. I will still sit and read all of these from cover to cover, just the same. Spy Files issue 5. And the Ally dossier in here, I believe, is the second part of Q's dossier. Yep. Q, Major Boothroyd, again. And then the villain is Largo, status deceased. And I should also point out, I haven't been doing this, but I will just go back for you, just to quickly tell you that each of these also has in it a dossier about one of the films. And in the first issue, the film they dossiered was Moonraker. And that does actually turn into a whole kind of... These all turn into this, a kind of a... what's the word I'm looking for? A double-page spread, kind of going over the story of Moonraker. And I think, was that 1 or 2? Dossier 1 of 2. So, most of them actually had 2 parts. In issue 2, the dossier you would have got there would have been Moonraker Part 2. This is why I say these are going to be several videos, because I'm actually going to go through and read all of the villain files, ally files, and the mission dossiers as well. Because I think they would make for some really great videos. And of course it will all be done in issue order when I get around to it. So the Man with the Golden Gun, dossier 1 of 2 or 1 of 1? 1 of 2. That was issue 3. And so issue 4 would concluded the Man with the Golden Gun dossier. Yep. So that's why I say these are going to cover several videos. And then issue 5, which is one we just covered, I believe. Yes. The dossier in this one, I believe, was the first part of License to Kill. dossier 1 of 2. I can't quite believe they chose to cover License to Kill in a magazine aimed at younger readers, because it's not really a Bond film we would have shown a younger viewer. But nevertheless, I guess they kind of must have done it in a very kind of friendly way. Issue 6, Brosnan looking very dapper. The Ally dossier in here is underneath the mango tree, me honey, and we can watch for the moon. Underneath the mango tree, me honey, and we make boobaloo soon. I'm sorry. Honey Rider. Every time I see a picture of Ursula Andress, or even if it's not it was Honey Rider, I just hear underneath the mango tree, me honey. And the mission dossier in here is, of course, the second part of License to Kill. And then the villain dossier in the back. What's the betting? It's not Fran Sanchez. No, it's actually one of my favourites, Electra King. Current status, deceased. And then we have Spy Files, 007 Spy Files issue 7. By the way, these were printed every fortnight, and they were $1.99. Issue 7, and finally, we have one without Connery on the cover. Without Oh, I forgot to mention. The little game on the back of issue 5 was Quality Quiz. Basically, which facet of Bond's personality do you have? His intelligence, his charm, his technical knowledge, or his physical attributes? Keep forgetting about that bit. Finally, we have one without Brosnan on the cover. As I said, we finally have Sean Connery for issue 7. And the ally that was dossiered in here was Current M. So, of course, there's no status on her, because she was the current M of the time, Judi Dench. Because, again, I say she was the current M of the time. Back in the early 2000s when this was, because these were published, I believe, between 2002 and 2000. Wait, that doesn't seem right, because the cards go up to World is not enough. I think it's something. Sorry, yeah, Die Another Day. So I think it's somewhere between like late 2001, early 2002. They were printed during the lead up to Die Another Day. So anyway, at the time, Judi Dench was the current M, and the mission dossier is the first part of the Tomorrow Never Dies mission dossier. So, yes, and then the villain at the back is Red Grant from Russia With Love, played by Robert Shaw, of course. Again, as I said, I think I mentioned in a previous video, I might not mention, but he actually did this film before he did Jaws. So, yes, and then the little game on the back is Secret Services. Find out which of the many services from the James Bond universe you'd work for. Your choices are MI6 material, CIA candidate, KGB comrade, or Spectre spy. Spy Files issue number 8. Back to Brosnan being on the cover, because of course he was the incumbent Bond of the time. Your ally dossier in this one is Contessa Teresa Di Vincenzo. Countess Teresa Di Vincenzo. Tracy Di Vincenzo, status deceased. Bond's wife, of course. And one of the very few images of Lazenby we actually get to see throughout the course of this magazine. And then obviously the mission dossier is the second part of Tomorrow Never Dies. The villain dossier is Jaws, and his status says he's retired. And actually reveals that he and Dolly came back to live on Earth together after they were freed from the clutches of Drax's crumbling space station. And then we have the little game is In the Field. You can pause and have a look if you wish. In the Field. Then we have Spy Files issue 9. And the, again, Brosnan on the cover. The allied dossier in here is Felix Leiter. Current status, retired. The mission dossier is Goldfinger, or the first part of Goldfinger, anyhow. And then the villain is Mayday, of course, deceased. She blew herself up. And your little game is called Girl Power. It's basically which of these 4 Bond girls are you? Although, why they've included Moneypenny, I don't know, because she's not really a Bond girl, but there you go. Well, I suppose you could kind of count her as a Bond girl. Then we have 007 Spy Files issue 10. Again, finally another one without Brosnan on the cover. We have Roger Moore this time. And the Allied dossier in here is Natalia Simonova from GoldenEye. Current status, alive. Hooray! And then we have the second part of the Goldfinger dossier. And then our villain is... Actually, it's villains, because there's 2 of them. It's from Diamonds Are Forever, it's Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd. And they are both deceased. And then our little game on the back is Sinister Pets. Basically, which Bond villain's pet would you have? Would you have Sanchez's iguana, Stromberg's lionfish, Blofeld's cat, or Drax's dog? Issue 11. 007 Spy Files, issue 11. Our ally for this issue is Valentin Zukovsky. And this is the first one where they get something interesting. Going down there on his profile update, says believed deceased. Believed deceased. The dossier is part 1 of 2 for the Octopussy mission, as the magazine calls it. But believed deceased for Valentin Zukovsky. Believed deceased. That means, this was an officially endorsed magazine, officially endorsed by Eon, the creators of the Bond films. And so that was basically them saying, well, we're not even sure if he's actually dead. So I think that was their way of saying, well, he could be dead. He might come back. Our villain for this issue 11, is Elliot Carver. There's no news like bad news. I'm sorry, terrible Jonathan Pryce impression, I know, but there's no news like bad news. And we'll hear about it from the Carver Media Group. Okay, enough with the terrible Jonathan Pryce impression. Again, status deceased, and the little game for this one is called Data Retrieval. So, yeah. Issue 12, 007 Spy Files, issue 12. And your ally dossier for this particular issue is, I'm not sure if I can say this on YouTube, but sod it, I'm going to, Pussy Galore, status alive. The dossier is, of course, the other half of the Octopussy dossier. The villain is Hugo Drax, and of course he is deceased. And your little game is Lavish Locations. Lavish Locations. 007 Spy Files, issue 13. I should have said that. 007 Spy Files, issue 13. And we finally got Timothy Dalton on the cover. Hooray! And I'm going to go on to one tiny gripe I have about the front covers of these. I'll get on to the end. Must have been through all 32, because you might be able to spot what I'm going to say. My gripe or grumbling point is by then. So, for issue 13, our ally dossier is... Oh! Okay. So, she's on the front cover, along with Timothy Dalton. There it is, Pam Bouvier. And her status is alive. The mission dossier is part 1 of the Dr. No mission. Yeah. Our villain for this issue is Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Or Blofeld. And it does say they're believed deceased. So, yes, because I believe at that time these magazines were published. And your little game is called Be a Sport. The game for the back. But coming back to the Blofeld thing, is because at the time he hadn't been... God, careful, Jamie. He hadn't been seen in the films for quite some time, obviously because of a lot of very lengthy legal issues. So he is believed deceased, obviously, after the events of Spy Who Loved Me or For Your Eyes Only. I think it was For Your Eyes Only, wasn't he? He appeared at the beginning of. And so, yeah. Does he mention here? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, actually, I think I've just remembered something. So, number 4, 007 Spy Files issue 14. Again, we have Sean Connery on the cover. Yay! And then our allied dossier is Cara Milovi from The Living Daylights. Status alive. And then our mission dossier is the second part of Dr. No. And then I suddenly remembered that this issue also has Blofeld at the back. And it says dossier 2 for Blofeld. But this is actually, if you look, it's Charles. It's just a jump to the left. Grey. And I've done that joke as an homage to Calvin Dyson, my favourite Bond YouTuber. So Calvin, if you're watching this, keep going, pal. Love the content. Okay. And it says down here again, believed deceased. This is the one I mentioned. So it says here at the bottom of this, at the beginning of For Your Eyes Only, at the beginning of the For Your Eyes Only mission, 007 was trapped in a helicopter operated by a wheelchair-bound, bald baddie who looked suspiciously like Blofeld. Bond eventually took control of the copter and used it to scoop up the villain and drop him down a disused chimney. And there is that final rendition of Blofeld we ever actually saw. Well, if Charles Grey had hair. Odd, they didn't give him a ball cover or anything, but... yeah, anyhow, so, yeah. And then our little game for the back of this one is Suit You. Suit You. It's all about clothing. So, yeah. Right. 007 Spy Files, issue 15. Back to Pierce Brosnan on the cover. Your ally dossiered in this particular issue is Miss Moneypenny. And of course, I have Samantha Bond there. She was the current Moneypenny. The mission dossier is The Spy Who Loved Me. I believe that's one of 2. Yes, one of 2. There you go. Spy Who Loved Me. And then your villain is Earl Villaches, as of course Knick-Knack. Knick-Knack, played by, as I said, Earl Villaches. Yes. Out of the way, Aki. Was it Kissy? Out of the way, Kissy. And then your game for the back is Data Retrieval. What another Data Retrieval? There you go. The return of a previous game. 007 Spy Files, issue 16. Roger Moore's back on the cover. Can you see my grumbling point yet? Keep watching. Your, for issue 16, your allied dossier is... He says, desperately trying to find it. I just told her to get out of the way at the end of the last book there. Kissy Suzuki. And then, obviously, the other half of the Spy Who Loved Me. And then your villain is... Believe me, this is nothing personal. This is merely business. Franz Sanchez from License to Kill, and of course, he's deceased. Ooh, I didn't tell you what Kissy's status was, did I? That was... Kissy's status is alive. See? Alive. Franz Sanchez, of course, is deceased, as we know. And then CIA Alliance is your little game for the back there. CIA Alliance. 007 Spy Files, issue 17. Back. We have another one with Sean Connery on the cover. Your ally dossiered in this particular issue is one of my absolute favourites. Quarrel, status deceased. We then have the first part of the Thunderball mission dossier. The villain is Renard, status deceased. Your little game on the back is called Underwater Disguises. I love it when magazines do that, particularly when magazines for young readers, and they just put that little game on the back. You know, because your hours of entertainment. Excuse me, let's go have a quick drink. Alright, 007 Spy Files, issue 18, back to Pierce Brosnan on the cover. Your ally dossiered in this issue is another one of my absolute favourites, Solitaire. What I love is that it says that her status is rather daring photo, not the hairstyle though. Her status is unknown, so we don't know whether she's alive or dead. Obviously, part 2 of the Thunderball mission dossier. Then our villain is General Orlov from Octopussy, status deceased. He was shot by his own people. Oh, and your little game is yet another edition of Data Retrieval. I do love it when they realise that one particular game was quite successful and popular, and so they keep bringing it back. 007 Spy Files, issue 19. Your ally dossiered in this particular issue was another one of my absolute favourites here, Wei Lin, played by the great Michelle Yeoh. The mission dossier for this one is the A View to a Kill mission, and this is literally one of one. View to a Kill is one of the few mission dossiers in here where there is only one part to that particular mission dossier. And then your villain is Brad Whitaker, deceased. And then your little game for the back, Brad Whitaker from Living Daylights. I was about to say License to Kill, but that was Sanchez. Oh, Living Daylights. And your little game is Action Stations. Itchy wrist. 007 Spy Files, issue 20. We have Roger Moore on the cover again. Have you spotted my grumbling point yet? Keep watching, you'll find out at the end. 007 Spy Files, issue 20. As I said, your ally dossier for this issue is General Gogol, status alive. The mission dossier is The World Is Not Enough, part 1 of 2. Then your villain is Goldfinger, Ulrich Goldfinger, of course, deceased, as we all know. And then your little game for the back is Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct. It's another one of those, basically, what we're supposed to do is answer the questions logically, given the answer you'd actually give, and then you'll get given your answer at the end. Or you can just do it the way we used to do when I was a kid, pick which one you want, and then try and find, and then just use whatever questions you need to get there. 007 Spy Files, issue 21. We finally have Timothy Dalton solo on a cover. The ally dossier in this issue is Dr. Holly Goodhead from Moonraker, status alive. The mission dossier is, of course, The World's Not Enough part 2. And then the villain dossier at the back is Baron Sammondy, and again it says here he is believed deceased, because remember, he has total control of voodoo magic, has a terrible knack for coming back from the dead. And then another edition of Data Retrieval as your little game on the back. And can I just say, I love that shot of Tracy. Okay. 007 Spy Files, issue 22. We're back to Pierce Brosnan being on the cover. Your ally dossier in this issue is Sheriff J.W. Pepper. Now I know you. Sorry, Clifton James. From Live and Let Die, A Man with a Golden Gun, and of course he is alive. The mission dossier is Diamonds Are Forever mission dossier, and that again is just one of one. Yeah, and your villain dossier is Xenia Onatop. Of course, she is deceased. And your little game, she's from Goldeneye. And your little game on the back there is Better Baddies. 007 Spy Files issue 23. Roger Moore's on the front cover. Your Allied dossier in this particular issue is, not you, Jack Wade, from Pierce Brosnan's era, basically. And that is, just to say what missions he was in. Mission GoldenEye Tomorrow Never Dies. So there you go. Played by Jodon Baker, who also played Whittaker. So, yeah. And then the mission dossier is The Living Daylights, and it is 1 of 1. So there's only one part to The Living Daylights mission dossier. And then our villain dossier is, may this man rest in peace, true legend, Francisco Scaramanga from The Man with the Golden Gun, played by the late and very great Sir Christopher Lee, who, as it turns out, was actually Ian Fleming's cousin. So there you go. And your little game on the back is Great Escapes. Great Escapes. 007 Spy Files issue 24. And your ally dossiered in this issue is Tatiana Romanova from Russia with Love, and it says unknown, so her fate ultimately remains unknown. The mission dossier is part 1 of the Live and Let Die mission dossier, so they actually finally split one in 2 again. And then the villain dossier is Max Zorin, played by the great Christopher Walken, and of course he is deceased from A View to a Kill. He is deceased. And your little game on the back is another edition of Data Retrieval. 007 Spy Files issue 25. Have you spotted my grumbling point yet? So, excuse me, at least one of you must have. Leave your guesses in the comments down below and watch to the end of the video to see if you're right. So issue 25, and for issue 25 your ally dossier is Original M, played by Bernard Lee, and it says their official status, retired. And of course, this version of M was basically kind of forced to retire on screen because of the sad real world passing away of Bernard Lee. So yeah, and of course we get the part 2 of the Live and Let Die mission dossier. And then our villain dossier is Gobinda from Octopussy, and of course he is deceased. And our little game on the back is Jaws Breaker. Jaws Breaker. I love that. Very clever play on words. Very clever play on words. 007 Spy Files issue 26. Roger Moore again. Our ally for this issue, allied dossier for this issue is Dr. Christmas Jones from The World Is Not Enough. Her current status is that she is alive. Our mission dossier is the On Her Majesty's Secret Service dossier, and they've only given this one part, so 1 of 1. Tracy DiVincenzo. And one of the best Blofelds ever on screen, Telly Savalas. And I'll come and get me for that one if you wish, but I know I'm gonna get some flack for saying he's one of the best Blofelds down below, but yeah. I know that people are going to be commenting like, how could you say that? He's one of the best Blofelds. In my opinion, he's one of the best Blofelds. Anyway, our villain dossier is Stamper from Tomorrow Never Dies, and he is deceased. And our little game for the back is called Dangerous Minds. Dangerous Minds. How could I read that backwards, I hear you ask? Because obviously my camera flips everything when I'm recording. Easy. I learned how to read upside down. Learned how to read upside down and back when I was in school. So I used to go into the head teacher's office and I used to stand there and I used to look down at his desk and I'd see all these documents that, of course, all these little things about other students who were facing him. And on a few occasions I saw ones actually have my friends' names on. And so I thought, well, they won't mind me reading it. They're my friends. And so I learned to sort of slightly read upside down. But mainly it was because I wanted to read what he was writing about me. So, yeah. 007 Spy Files, issue 27. As I say, mainly I was reading stuff that the head teacher was writing about me and all my friends, so it was fine. Issue 27, 007 Spy Files. Our allied dossier in here is Cameron Shah from Living Daylights. I can't remember which Tim. I knew it was a Tim Dalton film. I just couldn't remember which one. And he is believed alive. Believed alive. So he's alive, but he could be dead. The mission dossier is from Russia with Love, and it is part 1 of 1. And our villain dossier is Stromberg, Carl Stromberg from The Spy Who Loved Me, and he is, oops, careful Jamie, he is deceased. He is deceased. And our little game on the back is another edition of Data Retrieval. Wow, that game must have been popular for the amount of issues it's appeared on the back of. 007 Spy Files issue 28. Back to Brosnan on the cover. Who's on the cover of the last one? Was it Roger Moore? No, it was Brosnan. So for issue 28, our ally dossier is one of my absolute favourites. Excuse me, GI. Tiger Tanaka. Tiger Tanaka. Believed Alive. Our mission dossier is part 1 of 2 of the GoldenEye dossier. GoldenEye, part 1 of 2. Our villain dossier is Rosa Klebb from Russia with Love, and she is of course deceased. And our little game on the back is Split Second Skills. Split Second Skills. 007 Spy Files issue 29. Again, Brosnan on the cover. Our ally dossier for this particular issue is Domino Daval. Domino from Thunderball. Her status is unknown. And then of course we have part 2 of the GoldenEye mission dossier. And then our villain dossier is Dr. Kananga from Live and Let Die. Deceased. And then our game on the back is Dreamboats. Dreamboats. 007 Spy Files issue 30. Roger Moore on the cover there. Our ally dossier for this particular issue, oh god, this particular issue is Anya Amasaba. Anya Amasaba from The Spy Who Loved Me. She's apparently 30 years old. And her current status is that she is alive. Our mission dossier is the For Your Eyes Only mission dossier, and it is literally 1 part. Yep, okay. Our villain dossier is Now, remember I said these were published in the run up to to Die Another Day. But here's our first Die Another Day villain, Zhao, deceased. Now I'm hoping Die Another Day had released before these came out, because otherwise this is a massive spoiler to anyone who reads this before, anyone who read this before seeing the film. Deceased. And our little yeah, wow. Anyway, and another edition of Data Retrieval for the little game on the back. Love that shot of Roger Moore and Desmond Llewellyn. 007 Spy Files issue 31. And here we have Pierce Brosnan and Halle Berry on the front cover. And I believe that the Allied dossier in here is in fact Jinx. Yep, there it is. Jinx. She's alive. What's her actual name? Gisanta Johnson, aka Jinx. Anyway, Jinx. Our mission dossier is the You Only Live Twice mission dossier, and it is 1 of 1. That's it. And our villain dossier is Fiona Volpe from Thunderball, deceased. And our little game for the back is Private Army. Private Army. And now we have the final issue, 007 Spy Files issue 32. And our ally dossier for this final issue is Kerim Bey from Russia with Love, and of course he is deceased. And then the mission dossier is Die Another Day, and of course 1 of 1, because there were no more issues after this, it was all gone. Our villain dossier, of course, was Gustav Graves, deceased. And our little game on the back there was MI6 Mindset. MI6 Mindset. And what I loved was that rather than just sort of saying, oh, well, that's it, kids, that's your lot, they actually put a little letter here from Bond, apparently. And the letter this is the way they signed this off, and the letter reads like this. Goodbye, trainee agents. literally says, "Goodbye, trainee agents." Can you see? And so then the letter reads like this. It is time for you to leave the world of MI6. You've witnessed the highs and lows of life as a secret agent, been privy to the workings of the criminal mind, and had first-hand experience of the best Q-branch gadgets and vehicles available. You have been a loyal and trustworthy colleague and have assisted me through some explosive situations. It's only a matter of time before you're a fully fledged 00 agent yourself. Remember, these top secret 007 spy files are for your eyes only. Keep them safe from enemy hands and refer back to them whenever you need to top up your spy knowledge and central intelligence. Until our next mission, James Bond. And that was it. Now, did by any chance any of you spot my little grumbling point about these magazines? Well, here it is. Of the 6, well, at that point, 5 Bond actors, only 4 of them appeared on the front covers of those magazines. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan. Why didn't George Lazenby get a front cover? Where was Lazenby? Where was Lazenby? Anyhow, that is, or was I should say, the 007 Spy Files magazine. It ran for 32 issues, and then they signed it off with a letter. Now, I do remember a couple of other magazines I collected, that I actually collected when I was a kid, that being Doctor Who Adventures and Jackie Chan Adventures magazine. They both signed off with a letter when they got to their final issues. But I feel that theirs was slightly better than that, because at least in their letters, they actually kind of gave pseudo reasons for why the magazine was ending. But I will eventually. I have actually got both of those issues, final issues here. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll find those out for. Because I know we're doing the cards video tomorrow, so I'll find those out for tomorrow and show you those then in comparison to that particular letter. And also there was another some more videos upcoming. James Bond videos upcoming. I said obviously those are going to last several videos. Then there's also another James Bond magazine that I'm going to be getting near pretty much the whole collection of in the next couple of days, which also came with collector's cards. Wonder if you know which other magazine that is. It's not Spy Files, but the word spy is in the title. See if you can guess. See if you can guess below which magazine, which particular James Bond magazine collection that is. So until next time, be kind to one another, be nice to one another, like what you like, love who you love, take it easy, look after yourselves, and see you in the next video.